And welcome back to the STPL, not muted this time, I'm too good at this. We're going to have a PvT here, should be a fairly fun matchup. This of course, if you're just tuning in, is the third game of our second match today. It's Red versus SouL, and here are our players. We're going to have for Red, it's going to be BeSt. Now this isn't the pro player BeSt, he's actually on... He's on White Clan, so he has played before in the STPL, played in the round 1 playoffs. And I like how you're like muted, but I can see. I have OBS open in front of me to make sure this doesn't happen again. But we're going to have BeSt. He hasn't played too much for Red, but is a pretty strong player in himself. But he is going to go up against an ASL round of 24 qualifier. To not spoil anything, his ASL games were a little bit interesting, but huge thank you to Tuffer for the host. Welcome, you are currently watching Red vs SouL. We're going into game 3 here. It's going to be ByuL for SouL Gaming. Did win the Africa Challenge series for the school championship or whatever it was called. But either way, they're going to be moving in this PvT onto Colosseum 2. Now Colosseum 2, a very cool map for PvT. We've currently had 5 already throughout the STPL. Should be a lot more by the end as well. It's going to be 2-3 in favor of Terran at the moment. The PvT on this map before today was a fairly one-sided series between Jedi 1 and Gypsy, where Gypsy did actually really sort of abuse the fact that Jedi 1 was kind of forced into an all-in situation, and did manage to defend against that and win with a counter push. So are we going to see something similar here? I'm not too sure, but should be a great fun game here on this 4-player desert map. It's Red's BeSt versus SouL's ByuL. So let's head on over to our game. Okay, so starting us off in the top left-hand position, we do have in the white, it's going to be fighting for Red, it's BeSt. And his opponent down here in the bottom right-hand position, we do have the yellow Terran fighting for SouL. It's ByuL. Now, one thing I do like about these two's names is both of them have the same exact layout of letters. We have the capital at the front, the capital at the end of the clan name, so Red and SouL in the same way. And also you've got BeSt with a capital B and T and ByuL with a couple B and L, so really organized from them. I like to think that they did this purely for this match, but with my database I need to actually rename BeSt, but the trouble is I made the player ID thing, I made that unique for whatever reason, and I'm trying to work out how to do it without breaking everything. So realistically I should have done that through through the tournament between round 2 and 3, but it's fine. That's all going to be sorted over the weekend, as long as this as well as the statistics. Words are not coming to me today through the statistics issue. Now I just realized I had the game music off. I was wondering why it was so quiet when I wasn't talking. But here we go. Looks like we're going to have a gate likely into core here by BeSt. Going to be scouting the wrong direction, and it looks like ByuL going to be going into a gas behind a barracks. Now unsure whether or not BeSt is going to build his wall here. I know Gypsy didn't, and that could have cost him the game if he was a little bit more unlucky. But luckily enough for him, he did, well, not luckily enough, he did a great defense in that first series today. But let's see if ByuL does finish this wall now. Walling off on this map, very strong. It does mean that you can take your natural expansion very safely. And we are going to see this gateway core not coming up just yet, but it should be coming up very soon. Unless we see a very quick Nexus coming in from BeSt. But the trouble is BeSt, yeah, looks like BeSt is actually saving up for a Nexus. Now, this is a strong move, but he doesn't know where his opponent is or what his opponent's doing. So, by virtue of scouting the other two locations. This Zealot's going to go in the right direction, but this is going to be an 18 next from BeSt. A very strong opening on this map. As I did say, you have this small choke leading up to your natural behind your main choke, which is very easy to defend. And we'll likely see ByuL go for a very quick expansion off the back of this as well. He's pulled guys off of gas, so he is going to be going for a command center. Just a single marine needed. Could possibly even skip this, to be honest, but wants to make sure he can push the Zealot back eventually. But he's going to be playing his very own greedy style as well, so not really too much to say about that. There's going to be a Cybernetic SouL coming up here. It looks like he built an extra... Looks like he built his supply depot or something? Okay, so the repair of the Zealot actually delayed the command center. That's a bit much for our Terran player to be taking this early on, especially against such an early Nexus, but not too bad for BeSt, who's going to be feeling pretty good about that outcome. Not that he really knows what's going on. He hasn't even scouted out his opponent's base. The only vision he'll be able to get is if he sends his Zealot into this location here, and even then he'll just see the wall, which he already knows exists, and nothing else. So very good information denial by ByuL going in for that siege tank. Wouldn't surprise me to see siege mode coming in here as well, after he's added on what he just built, which I think is another... Yeah, so siege mode coming in, not really too surprising. Going to be trying to use the Zealot, needs to be a bit careful, doesn't want to lose this. Will pull it back, but has taken a lot of hull damage on that. Going to soften it up a lot for when we see BeSt pushing back in. Now, funnily enough, Red actually have two players that have pro player names. They have Last, who is a Korean Terran player who's not the Last, and I believe BeSt is a Korean Protoss, but not the actual SK Telecom T1 BeSt, who is in fact on White Clan. So we do see very good Korean players join the league. We've got Mind, BeSt, and SouL, all who have... SouL hasn't played for White Clan yet, but BeSt has. So has Mind. Mind played against Miso in round 1. The VODs of that are up on the YouTube channel. And BeSt played against Scan. They were two amazing series. Shiny played against Famasi as well, so that was a really fun match as well. That one, for TVT, was a bit quick. But we're going to have Roboplay coming in here for BeSt, and a quick Armory coming in from ByuL. Now this doesn't surprise me. So one thing that you may not know about ByuL is ByuL was trained by Flash. So for the Africa School Championships, I believe they assigned each of the contestants a pro gamer to train under. I believe the Protoss was trained by Stork. He was the player who got all the way into the finals with ByuL. Didn't make it. Yerim 2 was the other player, I believe, that made it into like the sort of top brackets of the school championship and did qualify for this ASL, but did have to drop out due to school commitments. But ByuL is going to have a very Flash style of play, so it's likely we're going to see a large focus on macro here, a very quick third base, a very quick 2-1 push, I would say, just based on his sort of experience and history. Now, you may have seen a little bit more of ByuL than you would have done from BeSt. He actually played in the ASL, of course, this season. Didn't go too well for him, didn't manage to qualify to the round of 16, but he had a strong group, and he did very well in the previous Have At You tournament as well. So, going to be a quick third base, as I said, coming up from ByuL. So this is very much the Flash influence coming out on him. Now, of course, the map does benefit this as well. A very easy to defend third base due to this ramp, and obviously you have all your units up here, so very hard to push through here as well. But we're going to see BeSt going for this expansion as well. Interestingly, doing a pylon wall diagonally rather than going sort of across the ramp does mean he can wall off a little bit quicker, but it is going to allow the vultures a little bit later on the ability to get into his main. Now, of course, he's got the pylon here, using that to scout for drops as well, and I completely turned off the wrong vision. But it's all good. Starport coming in for ByuL. It's going to be this tank Goliath style that's seeing a little bit more traction recently. Very strong against this Reaver style that we see coming in from BeSt. Now, ByuL going for the scan. He sees the tech. He sees the 3 bases as well, but he does not yet see the shuttle. He's now going to see it. The Reaver's going to be saved until last, but that's going to be flying into a couple of glass. Does need to be careful. This is going to be a very, very tentative moment here for BeSt, as he is going to try and hug the top of the map here. The bottom of the map even, to get away from the glass. Nice scan though to try and take down the shuttle. This Reaver has been able to do absolutely nothing, and any constant movement, or any further movement, sorry, in the future is going to be completely denied by the fact that shuttle has such little health. Now back at home we see 4 gateways coming in for BeSt, who's going to go into a Citadel of Adun as well. 5th gateway coming in too, and it looks like I thought that was going to be a probe down there, but that was actually a shuttle. Now one of the funny things is I haven't quite had a moment like the Korean caster where they think the Observer is a shuttle again, but fairly standard builds and everything like that so far. Of course, ByuL has a bit of an advantage. He doesn't quite have his 3rd command center yet. A little bit tentative, apprehensive to take that now as well, because he knows there is the threat of a Reaver behind this. Looks like he's going to move out now though, and he's going to secure his high ground. Now that's going to force BeSt into taking a very quick 3rd base, but with this quick science facility, any Stargate play, any Arbiter play is going to be severely reduced. But this is one of those things. Nice scan going off. Oh, that wasn't an Observer. The Observer's still there. It was actually the Zealot that goes down. No scan just yet to kill that, but it is going to be important to get rid of that as soon as possible. Going to see the shuttle coming back in. Still no shuttle speed though. Looks like that is about halfway done. Templar Archives on the way as well. Now this 3rd base is well saturated and mining now. Natural obviously well saturated as well. The probe production of BeSt has been completely on point, and the same can be said about the SCV production of ByuL. He's building off of 3 command centers at once, which is actually quite difficult to do if you don't really play the game too much. But here we go. Gonna have the shuttle flying in. It's gonna fly into a turret. Oh no! Oh, the shuttle gets taken out by a turret, and that's a huge, huge loss for BeSt. But BeSt was on borrowed time with that shuttle, and unfortunately he didn't wait for shuttle speed, and that is going to mean this upgrade is going to be kind of pointless now. Unless he builds another shuttle, another Reaver, that's not going to achieve anything anymore. It's going to be 100 gas that he could have better used elsewhere, but there's going to be a 4th Nexus coming in for ByuL. Sorry, for BeSt even. It's weird, because in my head ByuL seems like a Protoss name, and I know that sounds stupid, but ByuL does mean star in Korean, so that would be why you see a lot of pro gamers with that nickname. You see a lot of amateur players with the name as well. Of course, you have the pro Zerg player in StarCraft 2 called ByuL, and we obviously have the ByuL here in StarCraft 1. And thank you, Eroy, for pointing out it's 200 gas. I need to sit there with Liquipedia and just basically go through everything, because my experience of the costings of all the upgrades for all the other races are pretty bad. So that's something I can definitely improve on in my casting. Now we see 9 factories coming in for ByuL. This flash style really kicking in now. 3 shops and then 5 vultures going to be produced at once. +2 almost finished. We should have a 2nd armory in here as well. Just about to finish, +1. And that is going to be the timing that ByuL wants to hit now. Usually as a Terran player, when you look at Flash, he maxes out around 13 minutes, just before 12 I believe as well. It's once he gets his 3rd base up off of the back of 2 factories, goes into 9 fact, his macro starts to explode. Now ByuL, a very strong player in his own right, BeSt doing a great job as well, but ByuL doing a little bit of that micro here, going to be able to go into the top left. This is completely, okay, it's not completely undefended, but there's no probes here, which is good. If he's transferring them, he's going to need to pull those back. But good mine usage by BeSt, or by ByuL even for now. Them both having B names is really confusing me. But there we go, 2-1 has finished. 3-2 not yet on the way, but ByuL is going to be waiting to likely get to about 180 supply and then push. And that's going to be a very strong timing for him. Now it looks like BeSt is going to take down the Sunken. We saw the same thing go down here. There isn't really too major a reason other than it makes it a little bit easier for your units to get through. We're going to see the probes being transferred. Now BeSt is going to have to be careful. There's actually a lot of mines here, and he doesn't have an observer. The observer quite far back, but here we go. The vultures going to get taken down most likely. Going to pull back ever so slightly. The observer gets in. The mines are going to see the probes. I know, are we going to see a reaction there? Yes, we are. With this probe transfer, the 180 supply is hit. 3-2 now on the way. But this is the moment where ByuL wants to move out, wants to try and do some damage. This is the weakest point of our Protoss player right now. He doesn't quite have Arbiters in the game just yet. He has one building, no Arbiter upgrades going as of yet either. Maybe he's finished Stasis already though. But this is going to be a very, very strong push from our Terran player. 2-1 upgrades, very, very strong against the lack of upgrades here from our Protoss player. Looks like we're going to have a big, big engagement. Just zoom out, just so we can catch absolutely everything. Vultures getting, Zealots getting on top of the tanks. Great usage of Psystorm on those back tanks, but the units from BeSt are just completely melting to this very deep siege line. And great usage of his units. BeSt going to be forced to pull back. Going to be reinforcing likely with nothing but Zealots right now. All the Vultures have been taken down. And can he stop this push? This is such a tense moment for BeSt. He's going to have his Arbiter on the high ground now, I believe. Actually, it's with his army. Goliath already taking this down, though. Needs to keep this Arbiter alive. He needs the stasis, needs the recall. And he's going to lose the Arbiter. Great scan going down on top of the Dragoons. And this is a lot of damage for BeSt to be taking. He's got his third base. He's got gateways building over on the left-hand side of the map as well, so he can go for that flank. But look at this positioning by ByuL as he pushes up closer and closer to the third base. And if he gets onto this high ground, not only can he take down this natural expansion, he's also going to be able to take down the third base and lock the Protoss into the main. The supply is very, very even right now. The macro of both of these players is absolutely going insane. And here we go, Vultures jumping on top of the tanks. Nice stasis on those back tanks. Gonna have to clean up at least the front part, but so much blue goo. The flank not doing enough here, and so many tanks left alive. I think ByuL has done it. ByuL has broken his way through the front. Another scan going down. I mean, Vultures, Zealots getting on top of the tanks, but not doing enough damage. The Nexus still alive, though. Nothing here to stop the Arbiter actually getting a kill. What a hero. But he is still going to be running through mines. Actually needs to ungroup his Zealots a little bit, because that's just so much damage to be taking. Another tank could even go down to an Arbiter here. Another two. A nice mine drag on that front tank. This Arbiter, though, he's the real MVP. We've got an expansion coming up for ByuL. BeSt sniffing this out, sending his units down there. The tank did not, or the Arbiter did not manage to get a second kill, unfortunately. But this Goliath going to take this down. Unfortunately, the hero Arbiters in this game not going to be able to do too much, but Vultures moving down to defend this expansion. And GG! BeSt taps out, and ByuL takes a 3-0 victory for SouL. Now the good news is, for any fans of Scan, if you've not seen the STPL before, every single game that is played, as long as it's not a fifth match that isn't needed, is counted towards the final score. So we are now going to go in to our Scan game on Benzene. So don't go anywhere, guys. I'll be back in just a minute with some more STPL action. See you guys very soon.